Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm Dave, and this is Gen X Unchained with me, my co-host, Smoking the Bowl, and our guest again tonight, Only the Lonely.
What's up, guys?
All right. So earlier we tried to go live. We had some technical difficulties, but you won't find that in the archives because it's been deleted. It no longer exists. It's one of those things that I threw out in the Twilight Zone. Do 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 do. Oh yeah.
That's what your shows look
So
like
anyway,
tonight. One big
tonight's
Twilight
episode
Zone.
we're talking about aliens. Aliens, UFOs. Do they exist? If so, where are they? Did our ancient relatives make the Nazca lines to guide the aliens? Were the pyramids had something to do with alien technology? And the Maya, the Inca. We'll get into all of that. But until then, enjoy this.
Oh, there's smoke over there. I'm gonna check it out. Hey guys, so yeah, there's this crashed spaceship on fire behind me, but it's probably nothing to worry about. Let's check this out. I found this weird glowing rock near whatever that smoking thing is. I have no idea what it is. Well,
Kryptonite.
I feel a bit funny. My eyes are glowing. Okay, you are not gonna believe this. Humans in black suits, they're everywhere down there at the crash. I gotta get out of here! They're everywhere! I'm feeling really uneasy, seriously creeped out. Something weird is happening in this forest.
I get these panic attacks when my hiding spots, they feel threatened.
Oh man, I think I'm lost. Where am I? Oh no.
Fuck this.
They're just running Cuba. Very nice.
That is too funny. Aliens. Do they exist? Little green and gray men with eyes that look like, and make them look like they're a bumblebee or something, or an insect, an ant.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to get into that.
Country's disinformation.
I don't think
campaigns
that
with their
that's
wonders.
what
Ready?
the big eyes are for, though.
What, Moken?
I don't think that that's what the big eyes are for.
Dan, can you
I
hear
don't-
me?
Yeah, I can
can't
hear you.
hear you either.
You can't hear either of us?
So this is what I'm going to do.
Is this about to fuck up again?
Okay, here we go.
There we go.
There we go.
I hear myself.
Yeah. For a quick second. I had to downsize. I can't have it full screen for some
Okay,
reason.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
You just have to go hardline. That's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah, that'll probably do it.
So,
Dave's internet's experiencing alien difficulties.
difficulties.
They do not want us to tell you.
Right?
Alien astronaut theorists say yes. Ancient alien astronaut theorists say yes.
The chat box is open for everybody who wants to join in and leave a message if you feel like it.
Right.
I got some good news before we get into this. Over the next week or so, I'm supposed to get 3 signed copies of my daughter's book sent to me. I'm gonna 3D print some dragons, 3D print some dragon eggs, and I'm gonna put one dragon egg with a dragon in it with every book, and we're gonna do some giveaways.
Make a gift box with the dragon on it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Like, fit to your book.
But
Make sure there's
Yeah.
like a little stash spot on the lid itself. So like you open up
What?
the lid, the book's inside it, but you look at the lid and there's a little stash drawer where you can throw some weed or some dice.
No, I'm not going to go all into it like that. I think I'm going to do just good with just what I'm doing. But yeah, so anyway, aliens, let's get into this, all right? So let me do this right here, okay? All right. I'm just going to move this back to my regular monitor here. Do-do-do-do. Here we go. Let me click on it and get past the commercial before I share it. All right, this video that I'm about to share is only about 3 minutes long. It's about the Nazca lines in Peru. Here we go.
Today on the Daily Dose, the Nazca Lines.
What is
Located
going
in the Peruvian coastal plain, some 250 miles south of Lima, the Nazca Lines are a massive collection of
What is
geoglyphs
going on?
created by the ancient
We
Nazca
can
people
hear
of
it,
South
too.
America,
I hear it.
Can you hear it?
approximately 1,300 to 2,000 years ago. Taken as a whole, there is more than 800 straight lines on the coastal plain, some as long as 30 miles, including rectangles, trapezoids, zigzags, and spirals.
Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
can you
Can
hear
hear
us?
you.
He can't
I don't know
hear us.
what's going on.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. We can hear you fine. Dave,
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on.
change your output to your headphones. Dave. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Dave dipped out.
Yeah.
And he's back as only the lonely. No, you're not me, Dave. I'm me. This ain't some fucking Three Stooges shit. I'm the guest. You're the host. Dave.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on, dude.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. I had to leave and come back.
That's weird.
I don't
Restream.
know what's going
This
on.
is what they do when you don't pay, when you're not a paid user. They're like, fuck you and your bandwidth and downstream.
I think I'm just gonna have to go hardline. I don't know why.
Or you just give me that link and I'll share it.
What link?
Oh,
If you're having so much
Nazca lines?
problems,
The Nazca lines. Yeah, the Nazca lines are weird, man. They're just fucking confusing weird. Oh. Aliens, where are they? Can your little green men. Are they little green men really though? Like
great.
cuz here's the thing. Aliens have the
They're
idea of aliens have been around since before our country existed.
they're 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 known now as grays, and there's some
Well,
insect type people.
I'd argue the Greys didn't even exist. I want to see where the Greys exist prior to modern civilization, because we have the Nazca lines. There's hieroglyphs all over the place. They show aliens, and they're not little green men. They're big old giants with helmets and heads that are from animals. And they're
Well,
all over the world.
I'm a little
All over the
perturbed
planet.
and mad because my stuff's not working right.
All over the planet. Here. Nazca lines.
Yeah, in Peru. Look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, which one? I mean, because like I've watched.
It's the
There's an
3 minute.
hour and a half
It's
long
the 3
documentary
minute.
I watched.
There's 3 minutes.
Can I play this real quick? And then I'll look up the Nazca lines.
No, Dan's got the Nazca
Yeah.
lines. It
Here-
should be the second one. It says
Here.
Nazca lines in
I got
Peru.
the
It
Daily
should be
Dose
3
one,
minutes.
and
Okay.
It should be 3 minutes and 13 seconds long.
it said 3:14, but
Yeah, 3:14, but that's close enough.
Okay, go ahead.
all right, let me share this then. Hold on a second. It's been a while. I don't remember. Nazca lines, Nazca lines.
Today on the Daily Dose, the Nazca Lines. Located in the Peruvian coastal plain, some 250 miles south of Lima, the Nazca Lines are a massive collection of geoglyphs created by the ancient Nazca people of South America approximately 1,300 to 2,000 years ago. Taken as a whole, there is more than 800 straight lines on the coastal plain, some as long as 30 miles, including rectangles, trapezoids, zigzags, and spirals, along with 70 animal and plant depictions, many measuring 1,200 feet in length. Others appear human-like, including one that has been nicknamed the astronaut, leading pseudo-archaeologists in the 1960s and 70s to postulate that the giant rock drawings are the result of...
There you go. Does that look like a little green man?
No, that's a big giant. But I'm wondering, did they use these symbols, that they drew all these years ago and how they're still there? All this time later, when the sands blew in and everything, they were still able to be seen. They were still there. Were they used as navigational tools? Were they used to speak to the gods? Were they used to guide the aliens to help for harvest or plantation, for food and stuff? What was it for? So
Ancient alien astronaut theorists say yes.
of an advanced alien culture who paid a visit to the Nazca people. Located in the desert plains of the Rio Grande del Nazca River Basin, one of the driest places on Earth, the Nazca Lines cover an area of 7,500 hectares, all created by a culture that flourished from 100 BCE to 700 AD. Covered in a layer of iron oxide-coated pebbles of a deep rust color, it's thought that the Nazca people created their massive geoglyphs by removing the top foot or so of rock, thereby exposing the lighter-colored sand beneath, most likely beginning with a small-scale pre-construction model, before increasing the size and scope into what can be seen today. Researchers have long debated the purpose for these massive geoglyphs, including an homage to the gods above, in hopes of sending rain to such an arid, bone-dry region. In 2015, during a presentation before the
constellation right there. That's
80th annual meeting of the Society of American Art.
So
you're saying this one right here is an actual constellation?
Yeah, that's a spider version of the Scorpion constellation. Look at it. It's exactly the same.
Okay,
the legs are exactly the same as the Scorpion, only they've made it into a spider.
Right. And welcome everybody to Gen X Unchained. I see we got 2 viewers out there. I'm Dave, that's Lonely, and that's Smoking the Bowl. And we're talking about aliens, UFOs, do they exist, where they're at, and what do all this stuff means. Go ahead.
Archaeologists. Researchers argued that the purpose of the Nazca Lines morphed over time. Initially, researchers argued, pilgrims heading to Peruvian temple complexes used the geoglyphs as a ritual processional route or routes, while later groups of Nazca people smashed ceramic pots on the ground at the intersecting points between adjoining lines, most likely as part of a religious rite. In 2018, Peruvian archaeologists announced the discovery of 50 more geoglyphs, previously unrecorded and unknown, after they used drone technology to map the landmarks in greater detail, making the Nazca Lines one of the ongoing mysteries of ancient man.
All right.
And there you have it, the Nazca Lines, today on the Daily.
There's the monkey.
There's that.
There's that monkey.
So they think that it had to do with ancient aliens and stuff. People showing them where.
Yeah, there's also a large proponent that thinks they thought the sun was their god and they were like trying to talk to it and share art with it. But the thing is, you could see them from space, but why don't we see these all over the planet? If they're literally like navigational beacons for aliens, then why aren't they everywhere?
Because they were only with the Nazcan people. I don't think anyone else, any humanoid species on Earth, did things like that. I think the way they talked to the gods was things like the pyramids.
Everybody did weird things at the same time. They all did the same thing. Like there's pyramids all over the planet. What's that island? Shit. Easter Island, man. These people took monoliths, carved them out to be like deities or figures.
Now, what really killed me
one spot and put them all facing a specific direction on the whole island.
Hey, listen, what killed me about that, before you get going on this, Smoking, what killed me about Easter Island is scientists have said there's the rock that is under the grass
is more in some of them.
The island the samples from the statues don't match any other geological rock composition on the island. So they were brought to the island.
I don't know if they know if there's a quarry on the other side of the island or not, or if they did somehow bring them. But originally they thought they were just monoliths set into the ground like a couple feet. But they've unburied a few of them to where like they go under. They go under. There's a full size, like the thing's like 50 foot tall. And again, there's no record of any civilization being on that island, living on that island. There's no trace of a civilization that could do that. No. And you were talking about the pyramids in the show that nobody will ever watch because it's out in the ether now. You were talking about the pyramids, right? As you got cut off, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I was talking about before on the show. They found out there's structures beneath the pyramids that go close to 2 miles.
What up, dude?
What up?
What up, Ryder?
What up, Ryder, man? I caught a little bit of your show, bud. Good show, my man.
So they found structures underneath the pyramids that go close to 2 miles beneath the pyramids, and they're perfect. There's 8 columns that are perfect, and they have a perfect spiral around each one of them that's exactly the same as the other. And Egypt's trying to say, oh, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. No, this is Star Trek level sensors being put into actual use. So what they do is they take pictures. You know, they have satellites that can basically see wings of a fucking fly, right?
Yeah.
So they take these specific satellites that can see down to the millimeter, and they watch a specific spot as it goes over the Earth, over it, and it takes pictures of it at each movement in time as it goes across the globe. So as it goes from one horizon to the other, it takes thousands of pictures. And then just like my CT scanners take 600 pictures, it's taken thousands of pictures, and it's able to use computed topography to see how fast that specific spot moves. Get it? How fast it vibrates, right? And then the idea is if there's something beneath the surface, it's going to vibrate at a different frequency than the pixel beside it. So
you know what LiDAR is?
it's better than LiDAR because it's subterranean. LiDAR is going to give you pinpoint accuracy of the actual geology, of the geometry of the surface. This looks beneath the surface because it's so like if you take a bell and you ring it, you can see it visibly vibrating, correct?
Right.
For a
Right.
second.
And that's what this is using. It's using those properties to determine whether there's subterranean orifices beneath the surface. And it's a sound science. It's Star Trek level shit. And these guys watched the pyramids for 2 years and tracked every square, like all the way around the structure. These things are definitely there. And the Egyptians are denying they're even there and claiming that no, we built the pyramids and they don't have no structures underneath them.
All right.
Yeah, but just what if? Think about what if all that's a conspiracy, though, Dan, and what if the Egyptians are right?
It's not a conspiracy.
Just
I
saying.
mean, we went through the study.
Just saying.
What if these
The conspiracy
these
is them
pyramids,
saying they built the pyramids. They didn't build the pyramids.
what if these pyramids are actually old, discarded spaceships?
It
Well,
wouldn't be.
that's.
I don't think it'd be 2
I
miles
think
tall, and
I think that's false.
All right.
well, I mean, what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Those say that there is a spaceship involved with the pyramids
on the planet Mars. Given the fact that our body clocks are tuned to the planet Mars, not to the planet Earth, that indicates to me that we actually came here from there.
While the notion that humans could have originated on the lifeless, barren surface of Mars may sound far-fetched, scientists are now certain that in the distant past, the red planet was once blue and boasting a more robust atmosphere.
One of the most fantastic things that we've discovered with our orbiters and our rovers on Mars is about its history. And a number of really spectacular surprises have come out. The first one is that Mars at one time in its past looked more like the Earth. It was a blue ocean world with a significant amount of water.
We know for a fact that billions of years ago, when we were first getting started here on Earth, then Mars was a much more clement place. We know that it had a thick atmosphere to shield and blanket the planet. And it would have had organic molecules, the building blocks of all life as we know it. So it stands to reason that maybe Mars had its own genesis, its own origin of life.
Okay. Here's my thinking on this. Okay. Here's my thinking on that. If that is true and that's what happened, we came from Mars, then where's our technology?
Well,
why are we so behind on technology and trying to find another world like Earth now in other galaxies?
Because we didn't come from Mars. The people who created us did.
Right.
The Anunnaki came from Mars.
Why didn't they leave us the technology? Because they had to get here.
So this is the thing I have with this alien ancient astronaut theorist or whatever. He's recycling an idea. This isn't his original thought. This is Zachariah Sitchin's. And it's over 100 years old. And the idea was, before we even knew that we could for sure fly, Zachariah Sitchin was talking about this kind of stuff. And basically saying that Mars was abundant. Mars got into a huge fight with itself, into a huge war, blew up the planet, and the last remaining people jumped on a spaceship, came to Earth through Einstein-Rosen bridge, which screwed up the magnetic field around the Bermuda Triangle. Also pulled in a comet that destroyed a whole continent. It's about history that was supposedly like 350,000 years ago, and it's all speculation based on Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah, that is completely You know,
Ryder, I understand your
you're right.
skepticism, but I understand the technology too. I work on computed topology. Uh, to, to, um, yeah. Anyway, I work on CT. I understand the science. I understand the science of what they're doing. They're taking a CT scan of the planet and watching how much it moves. So if you were to, it's the same thing as if you walk around your house and you tap on your walls. All right. When you get to a secret entrance, you're going to hear a hollow tap. All right. So that's the same thing. They're watching a specific spot on the earth and measuring how much it vibrates. And then they're comparing it to the spot next to it and the spot next to it and the spot next to it. And the computer is able to determine what part of the ground is moving at what frequency, and depending on what frequency it is determines whether or not there's a void. It's the exact same technology, only it's literally a satellite in space that can see flies.
Well, here's my thing with it, okay? And I may be a skeptic for saying this, but until I see it,
Well, get your ass
you
on
know
a
what I'm
plane that
saying?
you won't fly on, and take your ass to
No, I'm not
Egypt
getting
where
on
you're
that
not
plane.
welcome,
No,
and go tell that the dude that showed
what
up
do you
on
mean? We're
you're not
welcome.
welcome in Egypt.
What do you mean? Yeah,
Not in
we
the
are.
manner that you're talking about. No, you're not. You go talk to the people from the fucking pyramid, the guy that showed up on Joe Rogan, and you tell him you think anything contrary to his people built the pyramid, he's going to kick you out like he does. He's a star, dude.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing with the pyramids. Do I believe that they built them? Yes, I do believe because they showed in paintings and on walls of their um, obelisk about how they did it, painting on old ruined walls on how they did it and how they maneuvered the block and how they got the block to be put in position to where it was. That I do believe. I do believe the technology for them to do that came from a higher power.
Right, because that
But that's
technology
just
doesn't
my
exist
belief.
today. There's a flat stone inside the pyramid made of onyx, one of the hardest stones to cut, and it's literally perfect. We couldn't do it today with diamond bit tooling. You would have to use like a high pressure laser jet to cut that perfect of an edge, and it's literally 40 feet, 40 square feet of perfect. There's no dents. It's perfectly flat, it's perfectly level, it's perfect. And there's no way they could have done it without technology that's far superior to today's.
I didn't say the technology on how they did it didn't come from a higher power.
Right.
I do believe that. Do I believe we're from outer space? Yes. Do I believe we're all aliens? Yes, of course I believe that because as science is so far proven, we're the only planet that has ever had life on it until
Science
humans
hasn't proven nothing with
touch
that.
feet down on
We haven't been
Mars.
outside of our solar
Until
system,
humans,
man.
hold on, until humans touch feet down on Mars and do excavating and digging, we're not going to know what really happened to Mars. We know Mars was a green, blue Earth like ours. We know that for a fact by the polar caps.
No, there's water on Mars.
We don't know
Ice.
if we don't know if it was an atmospheric collapse. We don't know anything of that until we get samples of the dirt and the earth from that planet or until we touch humans down. There's nothing but as far as little gray men or little green
It's
men
government
or
disinformation.
the aliens from Mars attacks with the big brains and
Well, there's
hanging
been
out.
That's
there's
all
been
alien
people
disinformation.
coming from Area 51 that's been spilling their guts.
Well, the video you guys did put on there about I believe there's life on other planets. I believe the human race is arrogant to believe that there's not life on other planets. Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I do believe that too.
Ryder,
But
we
we
haven't
haven't
even been
found
out of
any.
this solar system. That's like for science to try to like the people in science who claim that science has disproven aliens. No, it has not. The James Webb Telescope proved there's universes out there that we didn't even know exist in form of thousands of
Right?
galaxies. And there's some
Yeah.
strange shit out there. There's things that look suspect of Dyson spheres. Dyson
And
spheres are
hold
when you
on.
put a ring
And
like
hold
Halo.
on.
You know the video game Halo? You put a ring around the sun and harvest
Listen.
its energy 24/7.
Now listen. Now listen. Hold on. Listen. What
What's
up,
up, Ray?
Ray? Now hear me out here. Okay. We have found planets discovered by our satellites that are out there,
That could support
plus
life.
our telescopes here, that has water on it. What kind of life form is on it? We don't know. Would it be cool to find out that it's got similar life form or different life form to what we have here? Yeah, but we'll never know. Are we going to ever take a satellite and move in that
So
close to it? It'd take years. And I mean, I won't even be able to
Dave,
see it. I'll die first.
when the Voyager lifted off, you know the Voyager 1's not in this solar system anymore, right? Neither is the Voyager 2. But anyway, when the Voyager 1 lifted off,
No, they just rebooted one
yeah,
of
they're still
them.
trying to maintain communication, even though they're end of life on the mission. But one of them, the first one that went up, Voyager 1, had a golden disc on it that had a series of. It was basically a cipher that showed what our base counting system is, base 10, and our DNA structure, our chromosomal structure, our chemical compound carbon, all these things were encoded on it. And it wasn't like English, it was encoded, right, with math.
Right.
And
Right.
2 years after we launched Voyager, there was a, what's it called, crop circle that was in the exact same format as the image we imprinted on this gold disc. And it said silicone based. It had their base height as being 5 feet. It had their chromosomes as being XY and XX and YX. So,
Right.
and
Right.
they had a base 4 or a base 3 system or something like that, according to them. And so the thing is they went out and they tried to research and debunk that cornfield or that crop, and they couldn't debunk it. So meaning all the twigs bent over voluntarily. There was a knuckle in the bend
Right.
immediately, like the night after. And like if you've ever grown weed and you've ever trained your plant by breaking it, it doesn't grow a knuckle overnight. That fucker takes a couple weeks. So
Right.
for
Right.
them to be knuckled over the very next night, and yeah, it was hard for them to debunk that.
So crop circles, that was another thing I was going to get into too, is some of them are fake and man-made. Yes, I believe that to the fullest. But there is some out there to this day that has not been explained. Now, as far as is it from UFOs and different spacecraft? Sure.
I think
it
the
could
unexplained ones are.
be. Yeah, the unexplained
Yeah, the
ones
ones
are.
where they were
Did Rod
magnetically bent over and they have knuckles,
right.
and or the ones where they just nicely laid over with no bend at all.
Here you go, Dan. If we believe NASA, they say they have found living organisms on other planets. I believe, regardless if NASA's right
Microorganisms.
or wrong, that there is. That there is. So, you know,
Well, they have found a all water world. They have found a
awesome.
all water world, and who's to say there ain't animals in that water?
Well, microorganisms would be yes, but how much oxygen is on that planet to help it to be able to grow, and how much water motion, how fast is it spinning, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things has to be in that Goldilocks zone to where it could be a perfect fit for
James
life.
Webb's just found 2 more planets that are in their Goldilocks zones.
Okay. So those could have life on them, but what kind of life? Until we get satellites close enough to the orbit to it needs to be orbiting that planet, we'll never
You want to hear a
know.
trippy story about planets being out there? So there's this lady, this author named Anne McCaffrey. I think your daughter would really love her books. But anyways, she started off sci-fi science in space shit, like trying to do Star Trek, but corporate. Then she went to fantasy but she kept with the other planets thing. So she said there's a planet around Rukbat, which is one of the suns in the Sirius B area. And this is a real planet. I mean, this is a real sun that exists, but nobody knew there was a planet there. And they started looking at it after this book came out, and her book's a whole series about future humans finding this planet and moving to it, right? It's weird. There's actually a planet there, and this woman wrote an entire 22 novel series based on this planet and us going to it in the future. And then we find out shortly after Hubble looked that direction that there is definitely a planet out there.
Right.
Check it out. It's called the Pern series.
They found another planet beyond Pluto. It was confirmed. Like we all didn't know this already. Okay. Like we didn't know. We already knew this. We knew Pluto
is not a planet anymore.
Wasn't a planet. It is a moon
Still
or something like that, or
Right.
as long as it works.
What is
in
it?
my
It's a dwarf.
vocabulary, it's still a planet.
Yeah, it's still a planet in my mind.
Well, it's a dwarf planet. It's a dwarf planet. Okay, let's take
it's
it
a
there.
big ass ball
Right.
that orbits the sun. That's a planet to me. Like if it's bigger than our moon, you know, and it orbits the sun, it's a planet. That's
Right. But anywho, aliens, where'd they come from? Did they come from Mars? Nobody's gonna know until we touch foot. Boots on ground.
Now wait a minute.
have boots on the
Boots
ground.
on the ground. Elon Musk said by the end of this year, he wants his robots on Mars walking around.
Well, NASA
Is
already
that
has
good
their
enough?
rover there now.
Well, they got rovers there. One's out of commission, and the other one is still moving.
No, he's talking about Optimus Prime walking around.
Look, listen. Just because he launched a Tesla to space,
This guy knows how to try to target Generation X so fucking hardcore. It's Elon Musk.
It's
fucking Optimus Prime.
He's a
fucking Optimus Prime. Come on.
Yeah, he's not sending robots like that. You moron.
Transformers, mount up.
He's not doing it yet.
How long? Let me ask you a question. Does anybody know how long it took for the rovers to get from here to Mars?
Was it 8 months?
Do we know?
Yeah.
Was it months?
It took like 4 months.
I think it was months.
No,
I think it was like 7 months.
It took longer than
It
that.
takes 3 months to get to the
I thought it was
moon.
8.
But the thing is once you get so far away, you're going so fast, you start actually moving a lot further, a lot faster. But I think it was 7 or 8 months, is my guess. It's a guess. I don't know.
I thought it took a little over
Someone
a year.
looking it up. We had three men on
I'm
three men
not
with
looking it up.
computers.
I'm not looking it up. Because if I look it up, I'm afraid something's going to happen and I'm going to get all lagged out and stuff because for some reason on my end, nothing's working right. And I'm really,
Let's ask
really
liberal Google.
Oh,
liberal
wow.
Google.
Smoking.
How long does it take?
Smoking,
to
you're
get
right.
to Mars?
Mogan was right. 4 months.
29 weeks. What's 29 weeks? Actually, no, wait, what is that? 29 weeks. That's over half a year. Oh, wait, what? Oh,
7, 8
yes.
months. Yeah,
I
7,
know
8
my shit
months.
All right,
sometimes.
so I was half
One.
off. You know. Yeah.
The price is right. Come on down. Dun, dun, dun,
A few
dun.
days, probably 18. Yeah, so it probably took 6, 7
And
months.
it has to be
So
Says
aligned
29 weeks.
at a certain time where Earth is in front of Mars because Mars moves faster than Earth.
that's a very good question. Why is it important
I
to
don't
go to
think it
Mars?
is.
Are we trying to re-terraform it and bring it back to life? And I know that's what Elon Musk is
I
wanting
don't
to
think it
do.
Well,
is.
that's what he wants.
That's a good
But if it's
question. But
if it's private money paying for it, I don't give a shit. But yeah, it is a good question. I'd want to go. Like if I had the money to go to Mars, come on. Like especially like if this was like Star Trek,
that's
like
a
you could get on a
one-way trip, though.
taxi and like Katy Perry going to space, you could be at Mars in like a month.
He's thinking about Fifth Element and shit,
Right.
bro.
Like tourism to Mars. Come on, would you go to like and you had a
That's a
99%
one-way
chance of
trip.
making it back. Like, all right.
They done said by the time they're ready to send man to Mars, it's a one-way trip. They have to send 6, and remind you, 6 rockets behind
Yeah, it
the
doesn't
ship
have to be a one-way trip.
that's carrying. No,
Doesn't
it's
have to
going
be
to
though.
be
That's
because
how they're
that's the
doing
only
it
one.
because whoever goes first
There's
is going to
no
start.
fuel. There's no
Right.
fuel.
Yeah, right now
There's
You
there's
no fuel to
go,
come
you
back.
get in orbit, and then another one comes with more fuel, more supplies, more, and you stay in orbit. And when the second one gets there with your stuff, that's when you send the lander.
well,
And
see,
at
right
some
now
Well,
point,
here's the thing.
that's how they plan on doing it. That's just not phase one. Phase one is robots
right
show
now
up and deliver
they
equipment.
have
Phase
a
two is boots on the
they have
ground.
a project they have a project to where they have a
Get closer
ship
to your mic.
that will hover over. You know how planes refuel while they're flying,
Yeah, it's orbit from orbit.
and they're gonna be doing that with spaceships.
Yeah. So
That's
Well, see, they're
scary.
gonna send the the plan is to send a couple rockets of equipment first, and then send humans, and then send 4 to 6 more rockets
hmm
behind.
And I think
and when
he's
they're all
going to
said and
do a
done,
human test with the uh, Optimus Prime before he.
I think what they need to do is on one of those spaceships with equipment needs to be 3D printers
there are.
and a ton of resin or whatever filament they're going to
They
use
don't. No,
to help build.
SpaceX has metal printers, 3D metal printers, SLM brand and EOS brand. And yeah, they are planning on sending one of them.
I know that's right, right? That is funny though. Hey, make that a
Right?
game show.
There,
Fuck Lost.
There's a moon to one of the giants. I don't remember whether it was Saturn
Fuck
or what. They made a
Survivor.
movie about it. They plan on actually like putting a colony there.
Why?
Like we're talking like the end of the century, but they were talking about putting a colony on the moon. It's one of the moons that I think orbit Jupiter or Saturn, Titan or something. I think it's called. It's
Yeah, I
it's a
don't.
breathable atmosphere, but there's no oxygen. So like as long as you have oxygen so it would be like on that movie Dust, where you'd have to have an oxygen tank supplementing your oxygen supply.
You mean or
Dune, yeah,
Dune?
that's what. Yeah,
When
Dune.
Dune
Thank
got
you.
away?
So
Dune.
Dune. Yeah, it's
Dune.
like Dune. You have to have oxygen being fed to your nose, but the actual atmosphere would be breathable. But
I don't know why they want to go, Rabbit.
why can't
I
you
don't
go
know
where
why
you
they want to go.
want to go?
My thing is this right here. They've already picked the astronauts that's going to
It,
go, and they're in training now. Uh, that's why Elon Musk is pushing SpaceX so fast because it's going to be him that's going to get him there. That I do know.
Rabbit.
But
Elon Musk watched Total Recall way too much when he was a kid, and he determined he was going to be the one to set it up. And let me tell you what, this guy's
So they
come a
could
long
carry a
way from his
portable space
childhood
station,
dreams, man.
either hose up or unfolds to live in. Yes, I do believe they will take some type of contraption that does that just as temporary housing. And it may look like something like that biodome, in California. It may look something like that. But yeah, they're definitely going to have something easy and fast. I do believe that they will live for a short period of time on the rocket that lands on Mars upright, because look how many rockets that Elon has brought back to Earth and landed perfectly on the landing pad. That is one reason why he's building rockets like that, is so it can land on Mars like that, so they could temporarily live in the rocket while they are building the structures they need to live in, to work in, to all that. Yeah. Yeah. Star Trek, so that
See
I
if we
do
can.
believe. I'm not saying it's true or not, but that I believe that's what they would do.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's titanium.
That's metal or
Titanium 64.
titanium.
I printed this
Oh,
on the same printer that's ended up at SpaceX. So I
damn.
debugged that printer. I didn't install it because I didn't want to go there. But
Right.
I want to go to Mars, though.
Well, hold on here. Yes, that's why there's going to be multiple
Hey,
rockets, right?
Ray,
That's why there's going to be
Ray,
multiple.
the ISS space station drinks their own urine, dude. That's how they do it. They filter their urine and drink it again. All water is cleaned, conserved, and recycled.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be multiple trips of supplies going out. I guarantee that. He's just looking at the screen. He's not even talking. Bro, you need to be more communicative. But anyway, aliens. Is there other life
So
form
you
out there?
into
Did we come here from aliens? Let's get into this. Hey, one of you guys bring up
Ashley Forbes talking about how they flighted away Malaysia Flight 970?
Area 51. Area 51. That
Oh,
was
the
my next one. Bring that up.
disinformation.
Let's talk about. Yeah, let's bring that up. There's a few videos on YouTube of Area
So,
51. Let's bring one of those up.
oh boy, you're going to have to be more specific because, wow, there's so many.
It looked a little cartoonish with an alien on it or whatever. He looked frozen. And Moken, yeah, he was freeze frame.
Yeah, we got Y-Files did a 12-minute version. We don't got 12 minutes left.
No, we
Mike
don't got
Ritland
12.
did a Inside SpaceX
Yeah,
astronaut explains what's really inside Area 51. All right, we could try that.
yeah. I mean,
Or,
we could look up anything that's got to do with Area 51. 'Cause that's been one of my,
Here we
what
go,
about
guys.
that's been one of my things that I've been very curious about. What's up, Moken?
what about a House hearing about UFOs?
Hold on.
House
Hold
hearing.
on.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the heads up on that, Ray. Don't use any clips from History Channel. They will copyright us.
This isn't.
Oh well.
Let's see. This is. I don't know who that is,
You
but it's not
mentioned Area
History Channel.
51
Let's
a
see.
few minutes ago. Have you spent much time there?
Mike Ritt.
One of those no comment type things. I mean, is it? I guess that secretive to where like there's a lot of things you can't mention about it.
They just do a lot of testing up there. Even, it's all special access programs. I mean,
Is it as cool as it's made out to be? I've never been there.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Is there anything different about it that you can mention in terms of the way that it's laid out, or like, are there any things on there that you wouldn't see anywhere else base-wise?
No, I mean, it's...
Would you tell me if there were?
You know, it's not much different from any other airfield. There's just a lot of hangars. It's a very, very long runway. I mean, you fly right up close to it, even if you're not authorized, because it's cordoned off. You know, in fact, if you're flying with these red flag missions and you're not authorized to go inside the airspace that protects Area 51, you're sent home. Like, you could be from, you know, stationed in Italy. You fly all the way to Vegas to do this pre-deployment. If you skirt it by a quarter of a mile, dude, you're going home.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty strict about it.
I mean, and is that like a career-ending mistake?
No, it's just...
You feel like a dumbass.
You feel like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Now you let your team down, and now you're not getting the training that you're supposed to. And
if you didn't know that it had the reputation that it had, does the sense of security and classifiedness of it exude to a degree with which it's very obvious that there's something different about it?
I'd say so. I mean, I don't even know half, three-quarters. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
So there's a
I
lot
know
of
what I was involved with. And,
yeah, okay.
I'm glad we have it. I'm glad we, you know, I hope they're doing good work there.
From a reactionary standpoint, whether it's, obviously, I mean, you mentioned the repercussions if you're in an aircraft. If it's an unidentified aircraft, and I don't mean UFO-wise, just, you know, a normal, traditional airframe that isn't supposed to be there, that hasn't identified itself, whatever, and gets skirts or even breaks the airspace there, is there a lot more countermeasures that you're aware of on that base that would neutralize something like that than say Nellis?
They know if you stick a wingtip inside there, I can't remember, it's like 20 miles maybe around. They know if you dip a wingtip inside there.
So it's a lot more sensitive.
I think they're pretty sensitive to.
I guess since we're on the topic.
So just in reference to what he just said, they know if you stick a wingtip. Had to go to Los Alamos for their 3D printer, and they had to pick me up 2 miles off site, and as soon as I went through the barbed wire area, that's the first thing that the guy that escorted me said was, "We know when flies land on the gravel, and we can see their wings." So,
do you believe in aliens?
So that's not just Area 51. That's like every top secret facility in the country, including the Pentagon, by the way.
However, I answer this. I have no additional knowledge of that anyone else doesn't have. I do believe there's got to be something out there. I don't know what.
I guess to clarify or be more specific, do you think that we have encountered them at all? Like, I agree. Like,
He's worked at Area 51. You think I'm going to believe what he's saying
It's
right
not that
there?
he doesn't know. He's not cleared to be a disinformation specialist. Everybody that does talk, like Bob Lazar was cleared by the CIA and Area 51 to talk. He was cleared with what he could talk about. And if people pressed him and asked him too many questions about things that he wasn't just volunteering, he would clam up. Like all these people out here that's part of CIA make up a lie that's close to the truth, but that allows people to make fun of conspiracy theorists. Like, that's where the little gray men come from, man. It's all big government disinformation about the real truth.
I'm not going to believe that he does not know.
He's not going to say what he's not approved to say. He's approved to tell you that that they can see wings of flies when you come into their compound. You know, but you put the video up earlier in regards to the Roswell incident, and what's funny about the Roswell incident, the weather balloon that the spacecraft turned into a weather balloon, but still needed a top secret escort to move it from Roswell to Wright Pat in Dayton, Ohio. So you tell me why they would have like a top secret, like if you ever watched G.I. Joe and they're like 6 trucks moving one thing, that was what they did to get this weather balloon from
Yeah,
Roswell to Wright
yeah.
Pat.
Well, I want to see them.
See what?
If they exist, I want to
Mhm.
see them. I think we all should know. I think we had the right to know.
Yeah.
Well, this guy ain't going to tell you anything outside of it. You want to finish it off in fast forward mode?
No,
All right,
no,
you're just good with it.
no, no. If we're gonna do that, then we might as well just go ahead and watch a small clip of what was that one movie? Golly, Independence Day, the original. Because if look, you know what I'm
See,
saying?
but what?
Let's see
Why?
them.
Why?
Let's
Why?
see
And for
them.
those of you watching, why? Why do most people
Yeah, what
think?
is real
Why
truth?
do people think the real truth has something to do with little green men when, like, ancient writings, ancient carvings, ancient landmarks show us big giants? Our texts, our scriptures show us giants. They reference that they look like animals. It's all over the pyramids. It's all over every pyramid. It's all over the planet. And we found technology that was here before the flood that doesn't make sense with the hunter gatherer narrative. So,
So then, whenever we were talking about the little disc of our makeup and our system of counting and all that, and they sent us, bent things with them
You're
I
not
saying
agree with
wrong.
Rabbit.
that they're five
Yeah.
foot five and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about the height of the 5'5" aliens. I'm willing to believe there could be more than one, because like I'm going back to, like, I use my reference as the literature, because there's literature that's over 5,000 years old, including stone carvings, and the literature is telling us that they weren't 5'5". But it also says there's different species of these aliens. There's a lizard alien. There's a
maybe
humanoid alien. The
right.
Aryans.
Okay, so here's this right here. Do you think that the missing link, if we go by that theory, that missing link from chimpanzees to humanoids, Homo sapiens, as we are today, do you think that missing link is the link from
Yes.
space?
Me?
Lonely?
No, I think the link is right there in your scripture and your archaeology. The scripture is interference by creatures that are what we consider godlike, because they know science and technology that we can't fathom. They know how to vibrate a staff to the point where they can, like, shoot you with an acoustic wave and hold you still. Like, I mean, these technologies exist, and they understand how to do it inherently, according to the scripture, according to the documents we have, carving, all of it.
Your mic's messing up, bud.
Hello. So
Yeah, you're
I
better.
was saying that, like, basically the scripture that we have, the scrolls, the writings, the carvings, everything that we have from ancient
Right.
days, all say that these people had godlike powers, and to explain, to understand it in our terms, they had understanding of physics that we don't, in a manner that allowed them to do things like vibrate rocks so much that they would levitate. We know these things are possible.
So do you think that's why? Do you think that's why the Sphinx head was cut off? The original head was
Yes,
cut off and replaced
because it,
with a
yeah,
new one.
because it was the lion. Yeah, the Sphinx. There's a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. You guys, anybody listening, if you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. There's a video where you can actually, you just listen to it and it'll read it. This is script. This is text that was written in the 1800s, based on scrolls that were supposedly pre-Diluvian. All
Okay.
right.
So
It factors into what you were just saying.
here we go. Here we go. Now we're going to circle back around. Aliens, UFOs, okay? Coming back around to that. It all leads to one thing. Where'd they at? Where'd they go?
No,
Are they still here?
no.
Because Tinley Park, Illinois, by Chicago, I do believe has the most UFO sightings in America.
Okay, but the Navy has been.
But where are they at? Why haven't they tried to contact us? If we're from them and they put us here, why haven't they tried to reach out to us and contact us? Why haven't they tried to do some signals instead of beam me up, Scotty, and probe me in the butthole and then drop me back down on Earth and make me go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Okay? Why, other than that shit, Roswell, Area 51, plenty of other UFO landings and sightings that has been around the U.S. Why haven't they reached out?
It depends on which ones you want to believe in.
Sure.
So if you want to believe in the Anunnaki, then you go back to what the Hebrews think, and the Hebrews think that they left them for an age to come back at the end of the age and take over the planet. And that falls in line with a lot when it comes to like Judaism and Christianity storytelling. But like, and if you look at Hinduism or Shiva, like Shiva comes to destroy the planet and repopulates the planet with her own choosing. You know, it depends on what text you're looking at, and because that's the thing is all of these have different characters, different gods that they had give them technology that they didn't understand.
Okay, but still, to this day, we're more technically advanced. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, in the last 50 years, 100 years.
Hold on. Let me go through this. We're more technically advanced now than we were during the time of the Incas and the Mayas.
Why do you believe that?
And all them. Okay.
Why do you believe that?
Hold
That's
on.
the arrogance. I don't believe that.
Hold-
I
no,
couldn't
no, no,
make
no,
the
no, no.
pyramids
Why haven't they tried to reach out?
because we're not anywhere close to their technology. And we're not anywhere close to their maturity, I would assume,
if they're
too.
supposed to be our creator, then they should have reached out to us. Should they
It goes
not?
back to which story, which story you're believing, because they all have their own entity that gave them their own explanation that answers that question. You know, they all.
Okay, let's say we believe in all of
Okay,
them.
let's go with the one I'm most versed in,
Let's say we believe
Judaism,
in all of
Christian,
them.
Hebrew God. All right, he left because there's a story that's playing out, and the end is known from the beginning, and science tells us that because when lightning strikes, an ion trail works its way up from the ground, and the two potentials meet in the middle. And that's why Hebrew goes from right to left. You read Hebrew from right to left. And a lot of times, if you've ever watched the Y-Files, they have a whole 45-minute show on backward speak. It's about where your mind subconsciously puts a message in your sentence that when you play that sentence backwards, there's an alternate meaning that you hear. You know, you might have remembered this with music in the 80s, and they would play the fucking records backwards, and there'd be like demonic shit in the background, right? Yeah.
Yep. Anthrax, Black Sabbath.
Right,
all
and
of them.
then when you look at the way a ball rolls down a hill, the ball always accelerates to a certain point, and then it decelerates the rest of the way.
Okay.
There's like.
All right, let me go. Let me just pause you for 1 second. I'm Dave. This is Gen X Unchained, and welcome to the show, guys. Glad to have you here. That's Smoking a Bowl, my co-host, Only the Lonely, our guest once again. Tonight we're talking about UFOs, aliens, and where are they at? And why haven't they reached out to us? Crop circles we discussed. Pyramids were still back bouncing back and forth.
So
A lot of great comments in the comment box. I appreciate it. And we're gonna get back. What's up, Moken?
they have been reported, like Navy SEALs, like people in submarines, on ships, out in the ocean, that work for our military, saying that they have seen lights coming up out of the water.
Right. Orbs and Tic Tacs. And those fall into where I was talking about there before we said hi to the new folks here. Is that according to those three religions all have the same backstory. They just the characters are different on who's the good guy or whatnot. But the whole storyline is humans don't understand how reality works. That like our minds create new realities, and that reality isn't supposed to exist. So it needs somewhere. So like Dave, like for instance, you might have turned right or left at an intersection, right? It's your choice. You take a pick, right? So when you have that choice presented to you, it creates two realities. And the thing is, you don't understand you're creating space in space. That data needs to hold your new reality that you've created with your thoughts. That's what the religion tells you, is that you should watch your thoughts, because your thoughts create possibilities that cause chaos. And that's the whole center line of the entire theology. And the idea is God's favorite angel thinks that no, there's a perfect balance where you can do this and that and whatever. And God's like, no, you need no bad. It's all good. You got to stay in the light, and like the Jedi, right? And so that's the
Right.
center lying story. And now the way to prove this bet is our story of our planet, and it takes a specific amount of time. And that's the story. God's gone. He works through miracles, prayers, and manifestation of thought and meditation, and he's coming back in physical form to take over. And the people who follow him are going to be there. But in that same book, they tell you the seraphim are the orbs, like they're glowing fucking balls of light. There's
Okay, hold
there's
on. Let
all
me
different
go over
aliens
this.
in the Bible. The Nephilim are the children
All
of
right.
the
Well, let
aliens.
me. Yeah. Ray said, if you're talking
Right.
biblical,
The
and
angels are locked up.
the angels,
The fallen angels are locked up.
okay,
The 2/3 that didn't rebel are not locked up. They're still doing their jobs faithfully till the end of the age.
and he also says there's a portal that goes into the other
Yeah,
rim
so there's portals all
where
through.
they are at.
That's where the pearly gates come from. That's why they call it the pearly gates, because they resemble. So Abraham was God's chosen seed, and he was given pearls to give out to his chosen people, 144,000. Those pearls represented portals to get to heaven. And it literally was a portal. Like the way the story in the book tells you, he literally used one of these to go hang out there, and got all kinds of descriptions of the seven heavens that science calls are quantum realms. So, and that's the thing, is the government does disinformation because they don't want you looking at this ancient architecture. They don't want you looking at the different languages and the different words that we've already put all over the planet, because that's telling you who the aliens are, and it's telling you that the aliens had children here, but they got wiped out, and we get our chance on the planet. But for some reason, it's predicted that we fell. Yeah, yeah. The fallen angels are under the Euphrates River, and when it dries up, they're going to come out, and that's like the fourth or the fifth trumpet in the tribulations. Ray
All
knows
right,
all about all
so
this.
we're
He got
yes,
revelation in his
yes.
brain
Let's
like
not
me.
go down this. Let's not go
Well,
down the
that's the whole thing.
biblical.
Is the biblical's
I
already
know it
talking
ties
about the
into.
angels. The angels are different entities, spirits, and some of them are physical manifestations in this reality, and some of them are like entities like on Star Trek, where they don't have a physical body, but they're just light encapsulated in space.
And
And the
if
lizard
you look
people
at
are in the Bible. They're the
and
Satans.
if you
What's up?
look at the Revelations, it's kind of already started.
sixth trumpet. Well, the seals supposedly have been being broken for 100 years. And when the seventh seal breaks, that's Armageddon, which, guess what? What war is going on right now? Geddon is a town in between Jordan and Israel, guys. And there's a battle going on right now, and it's threatening to become a nuclear battle. When you're going back to Mars, the story of Zachariah Stitchins with Mars is that they blew up the planet with nuclear weapons. They blew the planet up with nuclear weapons. So if you watch Oppenheimer, there was a huge tense moment where they realized when they were doing the formulas that there's a small significant chance that any nuclear explosion could blow up the entire atmosphere and destroy the planet. And then now look at Mars. So anytime there's a nuclear reaction, there's a potential it can go unhinged, especially when it's in the form of a nuclear bomb.
Yep.
So yeah, I take Revelation very seriously because the Bible tells you who the aliens are. The reptiles are in there, the giants are in there, the blonde-headed, blue-eyed Aryans are in there. They're all in there. And the government has been putting out whistleblowers for 100 years now, telling you there's aliens, but they're little green men. And they come from Zigbot. Or what is that, Ray?
Post that back up again.
We'll have to.
It won't let me. It won't let me take that out of the chat and put it up.
All right. Let me see if it will let me.
We'll look that video up. See if you can, or just type it into the podcast chat, and I'll go get it after you get it there where I can copy and paste.
Well, they're on YouTube watching, bud. Yeah, you would have to go to YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm on YouTube.
You know,
so
like go.
I know. I'll go to the show on my own YouTube. I will copy and paste it. There we go. Bam. This is a half hour long there, Ray. Was it Ray that put it up there? Hello?
Hold on 1 second.
Moken went MIA.
Yeah, Moken went MIA. I don't know what he's doing.
Who are the angels?
Power of Wisdom is what it's called.
Ray, you might be interested in the Book of Enoch. I mean, if you search for the Book of Enoch on YouTube, you will definitely find multiple recordings of that book. And it's really interesting when you start talking about the Nephilim and the Fallen and the Watchers. The Watchers are different from the Fallen. So, and then you look at like Marvel and their whole overarching storyline seems to be like right in the lines of what. So,
or even the Urantia book.
Yeah, you won't find this kind of information in the Bible outside of a vague reference in Revelations about the Euphrates drying up and the Fallen being released.
Deep beneath the surface of the earth, beneath the flow of one.
Just ordered what?
Play that.
Just ordered what?
Well, he has.
I'm sure he's going to tell us.
The book.
A book, obviously.
One of history's most iconic rivers, the Bible tells us something is bound, not a legend, not a metaphor, but four real powerful angels, restrained by God himself, waiting for an exact moment in time. Not a year, not a decade, but an appointed hour, day, month, and year. Revelation, chapter 9, verse 14. Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. These are not messengers of peace. They are not bringers of hope. Their release will mark one of the most terrifying moments in human history, the death of 1/3 of mankind. Who are they? Why are they bound? And what happens when they rise? In this video, we explore one of the Bible's most hidden and haunting end-time mysteries, a prophecy that connects Genesis, the ancient world, the book of Enoch, and Revelation's final trumpet blasts. Prepare for a journey through the depths of Scripture.
That is nice, Ray. Definitely, guys. Pick that up and read that. That's going over the Book of Enoch and stuff. Book of Enoch dude, it's only like a 3-hour video. Watch that too, man. Anybody watching this, if you're interested in any of this stuff, and like, because the biblical record of aliens fits more with the artifacts all over the planet that we've found, including like the different continents. Like the Tibetans have their own, the Japanese have their own, and they're all very similar to what you hear about in the Bible. But we're seeing a lot of orbs right now in our day, and they don't look like what I would describe the seraphim as, but they look like
Well,
big old weather balloons.
okay, so let's get back into this. Wrap it back around.
What's
Dan,
up?
you believe there's multiple different
I
aliens out
believe there's
there?
multiple aliens out there, and I believe there's a lot of disinformation, and I believe the most accurate, if you want to be as close to what we have evidence of, you need to research historical documents, historical artifacts, and archaeology. The story's out there. It's written all over caves. It's written in scrolls. It tells us what aliens are. The word alien is new to this people. This word alien didn't exist in BC.
Right.
So, I believe these aliens came to this planet. I believe they took the hunter gatherer men. I believe they messed with our DNA. And I believe they used us for their purpose. And I believe when that purpose was complete, a lot of them left. And I believe that another alien that was more powerful than all of them pushed them, the remaining ones, off the planet. And like, there you go. That's what I believe.
Well,
and my faith in the Bible has never discouraged that belief. It's only enforced it.
Right.
All right. Malkin, what about
totally
you?
believe. I believe there is something out there, or something here, and or something here on Earth that we don't know about, and there is more technological advance than what we know of right now.
I
Okay.
think Ray hit it right on the head with his Book of Enoch and Euphrates.
Well, when it comes to me, seeing is believing. And that's just, I don't know. Maybe that's
That's
just
a poor
me.
excuse.
But, or
You
excuse
believe
my ass.
you
Seeing
believe
is
the
believing. I
Earth is
believe that
round?
there's
Do you
aliens.
believe the Earth is round or flat?
Yes, I do.
Well, have you seen it?
No, I
Have you
believe
seen
it's
it? Have you gotten in the spaceship like Katy Perry and her blonde, her other bimbos, and went to space to look at it?
bro. Does it look like
Have you even
I have
have you
money
even
for
been
that? And would I ever do that? No, I would
okay?
not.
Right. Have you ever been
But
50,000 feet in a U plane to see the curvature of the Earth? So you believe
no, but
what you
I've
don't see.
been in an airplane at 35,000.
You believe the sun's a big ball of gas in the center of our solar system?
That's being held in place by a
It's
black
not
hole.
held in place
Yes.
at all. The sun's moving. The sun's moving around the arm of the Milky Way galaxy, and it's moving faster than our planet is rotating around the sun.
Exactly, Ray.
That's what the ages are. Is our planet's literally moving circular around the galaxy through the 12 constellations. And that goes right back to the story of the alien that created us being pissed off because our people like to worship those 12 constellations. And he's like, dude, you guys like don't even understand how the universe is. You revolve around me.
Listen, All I'm saying
Many.
is this right
There's,
here.
dude,
Billion life forms
millions,
out
billions.
there. But they should, since they've come here multiple different times, instead of stealing our cows or beaming us up and probing our buttholes, they need to be doing other type of reaching out to us, I believe. I think if they're supposed to be our makers,
Plasma, right?
and they're supposed to brought us here,
The sun is plasma, and plasma doesn't
need
need
oxygen to
oxygen.
breathe.
But that's actually a good observation though. But it's not fire; it's plasma, and that's what the solar flares are. They're plasma waves. We got hit by
Yeah, I
one
was
last
gonna
week,
say,
fucking up the
what do you
internet all
call
week
the
long.
eruptions that happen called solar flares? I mean, that's just plasma just exploding. Like,
Yeah, and if it was as dense as it was when it left the sun, it would vaporize this planet. So thank God we're this far away from the sun that it's
right?
dispersed by the time it hits us. Otherwise, we'd be like Venus or Mercury. We'd be little fireballs.
All right, well, there's that panel. Guys, thanks.
You didn't listen.
Viewers, thanks.
What?
Ray, thanks.
What about? Wait. What about you? Wait. What were you saying? Seeing is believing. That was it. Seeing is believing.
Listen, seeing is
All right.
believing, but with all the proof that we have had UFOs around the
I
earth,
mean, there's been house committees.
They should have been reaching out to us, and if they are, and they have sent messages, then why haven't anybody told us?
When you
What are they
if you go
saying?
visit the
If
Caribbean,
they're supposed to brought us here, and they're our creator. Okay, let's do this right here. Say everything you guys are full of fucking shit. Every single fucking one of you are full of fucking shit. And let's just say, for just this is just shits and giggles. Okay, let's just say you all are full of fucking shit. Everything that you guys just said here tonight, Book of Enoch, all that shit's full of fucking shit. Okay, let's just say that.
I'm not saying
all right.
that. You can say that all you fucking want, dude.
Let's just say that that's the case, and there is other life forms out there, and they brought us here.
I didn't say
Let's
that.
just say I'm just
I didn't
saying.
say that. I said scriptures.
We got here from
said
space.
scriptures and
That's all I
archaeology say
know.
that. They suggest that. There's a lot of
We got here from space. That I know.
That.
Okay.
Our DNA.
We just didn't form out of.
Yeah, we did.
Air.
The only thing is, it's the missing link. We
No,
don't know how our
we were
DNA got from the
testing.
Neanderthal to the Homo sapien. Like, we don't know. At some point in the Homo erectus, we jumped a lot, and we don't know why.
Adam and Eve were test tube babies.
No,
Yes.
listen, no.
Yes, they were. Thank you. That's what I agree. I agree. There's a bunch of hominids running around this planet, and somebody said, "Hey, these guys could be a lot smarter than these monkeys," and they fucked with our DNA.
There was interbreeding between
okay, that's in the Bible too.
Styles.
That's in the Bible too. Men breed.
That's like the Incas. They didn't disappear out of thin air. They went up and interbred and started mingling around with another tribe. Which
that's all
then
in the
there's
Bible.
the Mayans who didn't disappear.
And animals.
They went further
They were
north.
crossbreeding animals too.
You know, they went further north and interbred. That's why they didn't disappear. Everybody thinks they disappeared, but they didn't. They just interbred with another, tribe and moved on. So yes, yeah, I know, bro. I have my doubts about that too.
We did evolve from Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, and I'm not Homo sapiens. The other Homo, what? Wow, man, I always forget that one. The Neanderthals. Ha. Oh, there. Boom.
This is my brother saying hello to the world, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, all right. Moken, where you at?
But yeah, there's a missing link.
He's coming back.
I had to get updates.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
There's definitely a
Oh, you're
missing
fine. You're
link. There's
fine.
definitely some kind of intervention to jump the bridge of that gap.
All I'm saying is if they brought us here and we're from there, wherever there is, and they've been here to visit us multiple different times in different styles of ships. So that's how I believe there's multiple different, species of aliens. What'd you say, bro? I still didn't even understand you, but I know it was funny. Anyway, so
you do believe, you just don't know.
Homo means man.
All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. Okay.
Bipedal man.
Different alien life forms, or they could have been one alien life forms with a bunch of different looking ships. Okay. But something brought us here.
We know the Neanderthals
and we're
existed.
here the way we are.
We know the Neanderthals existed. We know they were bigger and stronger than Homo sapiens. And we know now for sure that they bred into the Homo sapiens because over 40% of us have some portion of the Neanderthal blood in us, of DNA.
Yes.
So that's the thing, and a lot of different texts, scriptures, documents, and archaeology say exactly just that: is that these bigger, stronger, taller people came who had more technology than us, and they changed us.
Right.
We weren't.
Right.
We didn't come with them. They changed our DNA. They took the hunter-gatherer man and changed his DNA through banging us, having sex with us, introducing that's right. It's right there in the scripture already, and archaeological record has shown that now that we know the Neanderthal bred into the Homo sapiens.
Well, they weren't the only ones either. There was other tribes that had did that too.
Oh, we found all kinds of weird humans. You see the long skulls?
Yeah, the elongated skulls, the long necks, and all that.
And what's funny is the people of that area would wrap their heads so that their heads would shape like that, but the ones that were in the tombs, they grew like that naturally. It's the DNA's structure of their skull. So their leaders, that's how their skulls were, but they made all their peasants wrap their heads so that their skulls would look like their leaders. Really weird shit.
Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up. Moken, Lonely, thanks for showing up, guys. Everybody out there in the world.
Right.
Look, man, everything works. Everything, just hit us up. You guys want to be a guest on the show, let me know. There's an email to go to. Here we go. Hit us up at genxandbeyond@gmail.com with questions, comments, tips, topics, and requests to be a guest. You hit us up there. Look out for the new giveaways we're going to start doing here soon, hopefully, if everything goes right. And we will be back next time. I'm Dave, Lonely, Mokenable. This is Gen X Unchained. We'll see you guys again.
Later.